Kindergarten Patriots. Mrs. Wright here today. We've got a couple more stories before we're done with this section of nursery rhymes. But today I want to review a new story with you called The Dog and His Reflection. All right, so before we start, we have 4 new vocabulary words. I want you to listen closely. This first word is the word feast. Feast. Say that with me. It's a big meal. Feast. The king invited 100 people to the royal feast. All right, the second word is the word greedy, wanting more than what is needed. Greedy. The greedy king kept all the gold for himself. The third word is reflection, an image that is usually seen in a mirror, water, or other shiny surface. When you look in the mirror, you see your reflection. Number 4 is the word stream. A stream is a small river. We fished in the stream behind our house. All right, listen for those words in our story, our read aloud today. We're going to read another fable called The Dog and His Reflection. Okay, do you know what your reflection is? It's when you look into a mirror and you see yourself, right? That's your reflection. A reflection is a real person, right? You would see your reflection. All right, here we go. I want you to try to listen for that word reflection. Okay, this is about a dog and his reflection. Once upon a time, a big dog was trotting through the streets, feeling very fine because the butcher had just given him a juicy bone. The dog held his head high and his tail very stiff, and he looked neither to the right nor the left. All the little town dogs ran behind him, barking and saying, "Please, please, please let us smell your bone." But the big dog hurried on and would have nothing to do with the hungry little town dogs. The big dog would not think of sitting down to enjoy his bone. If he did that, some of his friends might come along, and then he would have to share his feast with them. A feast is a big meal. The big dog did not want to share. "I will bury my bone," said the dog. "I will bury it a long way from here where none of the other dogs can find it, and then someday I will dig it up and eat it." So the big dog hurried on until he left the town behind him. Soon he came to a clear, fast-running stream with a bridge across it. A stream is a small river, remember? "On the other side of this stream will be a good place to bury my bone," said the dog. He started across the bridge with the bone clutched tightly in his teeth. No sooner did he set foot on the bridge than he looked down and saw running along the top of the water another big dog with another big bone in his mouth. The big dog stopped running, and the dog in the water stopped too. The big dog started walking again, and the dog in the water started again too. The big dog put on a fierce look and turned his head to face the dog in the water. The dog in the water turned to face him precisely or exactly the same way, and with a look every bit as fierce. "This will never do," said the big dog. "I am going to take his bone away from him." What do you think is going to happen? Are there really 2 dogs? Is one on top of the bridge and one in the water? So the big dog opened his mouth wide to take the other dog's bone, but there was no dog in the water at all. What the big dog had seen was only his reflection. When he opened his mouth, his bone went splash in the stream, and the current carried it away forever. So the moral of the story is, if you are greedy, you may lose everything. Greedy means wanting more than you need, right? Does the dog get what he wants in the end of this fable? No, he doesn't. The bone goes floating away, right? What is the dog excited about at the beginning? Good, his bone. What does the dog decide to do with his bone? He wants to save it for another time, right? In the fable, the dog crosses a stream on the bridge. What happens while he's crossing the bridge? What does he see? If you said he sees his reflection, you're correct. What is a fable again? Do you remember? It's a story that teaches us a lesson. Think for a minute. I'm going to ask you a question, and then you're going to pause the video and share your answer with somebody you're sitting near. Is this story real or make believe? How do you know? We know this story is make believe, right? Because animals don't really talk. All right, it's time for some word work. Are you ready? The word is feast. Let's clap it out. Feast. Feast. That's just a one-syllable word, one clap, right? If in the fable you heard the big dog would not think of sitting down to enjoy his bone, if he did that, some of his friends might come along, and then he would have to share his feast with them. A feast is a large meal. When my family gets together, everyone brings food and we have a feast. All right, it's your turn. In a complete sentence, use the word feast. You could say, we have a feast blank because blank. We have a feast every Thanksgiving in November, right? That's a feast, a big Thanksgiving dinner. Okay, pause the video and tell somebody near you your sentence using the word feast. All right, time for stand up and sit down or thumbs up, thumbs down. Here we go. I'm going to say a sentence and you tell me, is it a feast or not a feast? Ready? For dinner, we had turkey, rolls, stuffing, potatoes, green beans, apple pie, and pumpkin pie. Is that a feast or not a feast? That is a feast, right? A piece of fruit. That's not a feast. Everyone brought a dish to share for our neighborhood picnic. That's a feast, right? A bag full of bones for your puppy dog. That'll be a feast for them. And a glass of water. Is that a feast? It's not, right? Good job. You have a worksheet in your book that helps you put the story into order. Go ahead and cut out the pictures and put them in order of how this story goes. Another word for order is in sequence. So it's got to be in the right order of how the story went. Thanks for coming today. See you later.